Welcome folks then to the second of our Falkirk Apple Regional Training Centre sessions in the Exploring Learner Engagement series. This session we are focusing on easy interactive lessons. Now we know that we've got lots and lots of different ways to make interactive lessons and learning experiences, but I think what we're going to show you today is really quite special, particularly because this session is going to be led by Aileen Wallace, who is our curiosity champion for Curipod in Falkirk. So you're getting the best of the best. And as you can see from the hat, which I'm sure she'll mention, she really is, quite in with the Curipod guys. They're always sending her stuff, they're always keeping her updated. So you really are getting the most up-to-date and best information on how we can create easy interactive lessons using Curipod in our classrooms or in our libraries as well, just given the audience that we've got today. So this is a session about learner engagement. So the situation or the agenda is the same as the last time. We're going to speak very briefly about learner engagement, and then I'm going to hand over to Aileen. She'll give us an introduction, she'll show us Curipod in action, and then she'll tell us where to learn more. So we're not going to spend an awful lot of time on this because everybody who is here today was here last time. But just as a little reminder, when we're talking about learner engagement, we're talking about a variety of different things, different complex, knotty and thorny things that make up learner engagement. So we have the cognitive engagement, we have the emotional engagement of children and young people, we have the behavioural engagement, and if you were here last time, you might remember that we talked a little bit about the behavioural and the physical engagement, and about how sometimes people think that this is kind of a compliance thing. It's about you're sitting down and you are actively listening and you're sitting up straight and you're making eye contact. And actually, I think that Aileen will have a few things to say about how behavioural and physical engagement changes the way it looks when you're using these interactive lessons in the classroom. So I'll hand over then to Aileen.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us. As Kerry said, I'm a curiosity champion for Curipod here in the United Kingdom. The hat has kicked off when they were in Texas at a big conference there, and they labelled themselves Curiosity Cowboys. And it's taken a life of its own. So let's get you guys involved. And I'm hoping to explain to you how Curiosity and Curipod can help engagement in your classroom by showing you the student experience. So if you've got a device handy, if you could use the QR code or join at curie.live on 531365 is your PIN. And while you are doing that, I will open the moderation tool, which is what makes Curipod quite such a safe product, such a safe platform to use in the classroom. Because as the teacher, you can see exactly what your students are doing. So if I start talking to you and you're thinking, how does she know what I'm doing? I've got eyes on your screen. So this afternoon, I'm going to try and give you the student experience of using Curipod and then show you behind the scenes how you'd make your own Curipod and how you can upload your own slides to it. So first things first, I always start with a poll in almost all of my lessons just to gauge prior knowledge. So for you folks this afternoon, how confident are you feeling about using AI in your lessons? You've got a choice of 5 there. So half of us are feeling reasonably confident and half of us are needing a little bit of practice. So reasonably confident folks, this will hopefully be quite straightforward for you, and need more practice people. Hopefully this will give you a little bit more confidence to try it in your own classrooms. I know myself, but this time last year, I had not tried any ed tech at all. The 26th of March is my Curiversary of being with Curipod. So in a year, I have gone from knowing nothing to being brave enough to come on and talk to Kerry, and hopefully that gives you an idea of just how much support this platform can give you. It's an online platform from Lesson Generation. There are a lot of them going around at the moment, but hopefully I'll show you why I think this is the best for improving engagement. You can have entirely AI generated lessons. You can upload your own lessons. If you've got PDFs or PowerPoints, you can upload your own and adapt them within Curipod, and you can also integrate it. You can include YouTube videos, you can use Genially, you can use Vimeo. Canva, we think are changing something about their upload, so it doesn't always work at the moment, but we're expecting them to come back on board to us. You can do formative assessment, the engagement levels that Curipod will improve in your classroom. I've seen myself how much it's improved. You can check prior knowledge. There's a whole raft of ways that you can use Curipod in the classroom. At the moment, obviously, the time of year that it is, I'm using a lot of revision. So we're checking vocabulary, we're looking at prior knowledge of students, and I'm trying out assessments to help students feel a bit more confident going into their exams. I have quite honestly lost track of how many generators there are on Curipod at the moment. There's one coming out about every week. There's just been 3 this afternoon launched for the state of Georgia. They even take requests from teachers that if there's something you find you'd like to use, they will try and put something together for you. And all of the generators have teacher input at the base of them. So they are designed around what teachers are using in the classroom. They are designed to help you as best they can. And a lot of them, as I'll hopefully show you at the end, are adaptable so you can personalize them for yourself. As I spoke at the beginning there, you have the moderator tool. The little settings button at the bottom gives you your own QR code. You scan it with your own iPad or a phone or another device, and you can see on the other side of the screen there, it lets you see exactly what your students are doing. This particular one, bunny rabbits on surfboards, was the brain break for that lesson, but it gives you that confidence, and actually it gives the students the confidence that they know you've got eyes on what they're doing the whole time, and they feel quite safe with it. So that's one of the concerns that people have with privacy and safety. Curipod have had it covered from the beginning with their moderator tool. Okay, first challenge for you. I'll be honest, wasn't expecting an international audience, so my apologies for anybody's Scottish knowledge, but let's see how you do, folks. This map should pop up on your screens. What I would like you to try and do is mark on in 90 seconds as many Scottish towns and cities as you can. Okay, we are up and running. Now you can do this with anything. You can put a photo, you can put a map, you can put a diagram, you can have students mark on top of it. So this is a way of using the drawing feature in order to personalize it for your own lessons. I have to say, an awful lot of librarians in America are getting on board with the EdTech and using Curipod. I had no idea there was quite so much involvement, but there's a growing number of librarians using EdTech like Curipod for the work that they do in their libraries. So it's really nice to see a librarian over here in Scotland getting on board with us. And if there's anything I can do to help, just give me a shout. I'll put you in touch with folks over in America as well, if that helps you. Coming up for 30 seconds, folks. You can, if you want, you might be able to see in the bottom of my screen there, if you wanted, you can add time on if you found that students were needing extra time, or if everybody had finished the task, you hit the red button, it gives a 3-second countdown and you can end the task early. Handy for a Friday afternoon when everybody's starting to get a bit hectic and a bit keen on eyeing the door. Last few seconds. Okay, so one of the features that the students always like is the chance to vote. I think the internet has only let us pick up 2 people's pictures. So on your screens, you should get both maps and you'll be able to vote on which one you think's most accurate. You can use the voting for drawings, for answers, for a whole range of ways to try and get students to think about who gave the best answer and why. It's very good for starting up discussion, and it gives a safety element that people can vote for something and talk about it without worrying about their own being up there. Let's see, so who have we got? Oh, nicely done, pretty much bang in the middle there. Aberdeen and Falkirk, well done. Aberdeen and Falkirk again. So we've got our 2 maps. Again, you can do this with questions, with maps, with drawings. It lets you have a look at engagement in the classroom, and it gives students the safety to put their own answers up or choose somebody else because their names are not going on the screen. One of the big pushes for this year with a lot of the EdTech platforms is feedback, and AI giving feedback to students from their work. CuriePod have done an awful lot of work on this, and I've been trying to use it ever since the beginning with students. You can get feedback in other languages. You can get feedback from an historical figure, their most recent one, feedback from the evil AI ruler in charge of the world. My students have found it really good because with a class of 30, they know they're not going to get work back very quickly. If I've got 2 classes of S4, which I do, it's not going to be instant feedback. With the feedback, you can personalize it, you can alter it. As you can see on the screen there, you can change the question, you can change the character limit, you can even change the prompt that the feedback is going to be given from. Most of this is off the free version. If you see the little crowns there, those are the premium versions. I'm going to give you a code at the end. You can try out the premium for 3 months to see if you like it. But I found this really useful for engaging students because they give you answers there and then, and you're able to give them feedback in seconds. And then you can go on to discuss, what was good about your feedback, where were your strengths, where were your weaknesses. And it's that instant feedback that really makes it worthwhile because they've just done the question, they've just thought about the answer, and now they're getting feedback on it. And it keeps it live in their heads rather than wondering about the same question next week. Very important question here. Jaffa cake, a cake or biscuit? So I'm going to give you 90 seconds to give me an answer, give me your thoughts on whether Jaffa cake is a cake or a biscuit, and then we're going to see with the AI. Yep.
Just before you press play, could you put the QR code up again?
Yep.
There's just a few folk that have joined us or
Not
have
a
had
problem.
technical issues.
There we go. If anybody is needing the QR code, that's it there for you. And this happens in class. If the Wi-Fi drops or it drops people out, then I can get people back in. You can pull up the code instantly. You can get people joined back in again. And if you're quick enough, it gets them straight back into where they were.
Great. So we've got Brave Pasta has joined as well.
Is that our person we were needing in?
I think so.
Excellent.
Thanks.
I should say on the moderator, you see the names next to the pupils' actual names. So the students' names will never appear on the screen, but you can see on your device whose name's attached to which made up name. So you always know who's doing what. So give me your thoughts, folks. Jaffa cake, cake or biscuit? What do you think? Some very decisive thoughts here. Kerry, I'm with you. Yeah, that's my argument as well. And this is one of the elements I like, that if you're in a class, as students' answers are coming in, you can give them feedback as they're typing it. You can give them positive feedback. Yeah, I would agree with you. You've got a good point there. Didn't think of that. And they haven't had to get up and speak. They haven't had to write their information up, but they will get feedback from you as they're going along. So hopefully your feedback should be coming up on your screens. Kerry, has the feedback popped up on yours? Yep, there we go. So sweet response, you baked a concise argument, clearly favouring the cake side with a tasty evidence crumb. Keep rising with those insights. You can prompt the AI to be as funny or as straightforward and serious as you like. So you can manipulate it to the situation you're in, whether you're little S1s or you're in an S6 class revising, you can adapt it to make it fit. And that was just to give you an idea of it. As I said a couple of minutes ago, feedback is the big push, and this was released with CuriePod 3.0 a couple of weeks ago. So at the end of the lesson, I'm going to let you see the results from this lesson. Name, obviously, I've had to blank out, but you see who responded to which question, so you can keep a check on who's engaging in your lesson and who's not. It can pick up when a child's disengaged, and maybe that's something for a head of house teacher to be dealing with. And it also gives you insights on individual students and breaks them down. So we can see here what the learning objectives were, and it gives me a summary of how the whole class were reacting. So I can look back at it and say, oh, I need to go back over this element of what an MSP actually gets up to in First Minister's question time, but they've handled the element of representation, so I can move on from that. And if you want to look at individual students' works, you can go into each student within the lesson and you can see the answer they gave, and you'll also see the feedback that the student was given. So you can double check that the feedback is what you want it to be and pick up on any students who need a little bit more help from you. This is the brain break. I get pelters from classes if they don't get to do a brain break. The AI chooses it for you. I'll be honest, and I've said this to the CuriPod guys, when I first saw this, I thought, what a waste of time. I'm not doing what the students have said is it really helps them reset their brains, and it gives them just that quick break in the middle of a class to do something daft. It also really helps to get kids talking to each other. So have a go, folks. How are you at drawing an octopus playing the drums? And inevitably it comes up with some moderator on to see what's getting drawn, but it gives a good laugh, and it just relaxes the class, and it gives them that moment to step away from what they're doing, let their brain process it. And from the social engagement side of things, it helps build relationships, and you see kids who wouldn't normally talk to each other going, oh, what are you drawing? Oh, how did you do that? Yeah, I think I pretty much include it in almost all my lessons when I've got it. Even all the way up to 6 years, no matter how cool they think they are, they will quite happily draw something daft that the AI comes up with. Last few seconds. Oh, I love these. Oh, these are brilliant. Coming up for 5-second countdown. Okay, what did you think of everybody's drawing? Whose drawing's the funniest? Let's have a vote on this one. Again, you're building in engagement, you're building in student ownership of the lesson. I think we will cut that one short because I think everybody's had a chance to vote. There we go, winning octopus. I think I clicked the wrong button there. There he goes, a slightly stressed looking octopus, possibly playing drums for the first time. Oh, he's pretty. And a bit of colour, why not add a bit of colour in? You can show the top 3 first of all, and then you get the option to show them all, and the kids really like being able to see their own answers up on the screen if it's been a written thing or if it's a drawn one. Again, it's just that bit of engagement. It gets them involved, it loosens them up, it gets them talking, it relaxes them before you jump in. Another new element that's come in for a lot of EdTech platforms is translation. Now, when you get to look at behind the scenes, you'll see this little symbol here for translation. You can translate any of the CuriPod's created slides into another language. I believe they're still working on translating uploaded files, but you can translate any of your slides. So if you've got a student in your classroom who's EAL, you can provide a version of the lesson in their own language for them. It also will give feedback in another language. So if a student answers in their own language, the AI will give them feedback in that language. So it's becoming more and more accessible. And they are working to make sure they include as many languages as possible. So if that's something that concerns you or something you're looking for in your classroom, we've got you featured, we've got you covered there for the translation. So from the admittedly brief, quick view I've shown you today, which feature of CuriPod do you think you would like to try first? And I have only shown you just a few of them, but we'd be here for about 6 hours if I took you through every single one of the generators. Sometimes, Moira, it's best just to jump in and find out what's there without thinking about it. Yep, absolutely fine. Last round of voting for you for this afternoon. At least I'm pretty sure it is. Now we will see what we have got. So top choice, trying out some of the AI generated features. Second, loving a drawing slide. Yep, I'm with you. I've done it for everything from voting influences in the democratic situation to drawing things, polls and questionnaires. They love a poll and a questionnaire. Drawing tools, not bothered. Give them a go, see how we are. Okay, again, I'm not guaranteeing that you suddenly are 100%, but one of the things I like adding at the end of a lesson as well is just a check-in point to see what elements of the lesson have worked. So how confident are you feeling about using Curipod in your lessons? Oh, we've got to move up. We've had progress, folks. We've had progress. So we've now got 3 of us feeling reasonably confident and somebody's feeling a little bit more practice. The thing I love about all of these ed techs is practice is not work. It's playing. You are playing with it. If you would like to have a play around with the premium, as I said, my code Aileen will get you 3 months of the premium. So once you've set up your initial free account, you upgrade to premium, choose monthly, put my name in, and you'll get to play around with the premium for a few months. I can pass that code out to any of you who need a note of it later on. And if you are thinking of diving more into Curipod, if you're on Facebook, the Curipod teachers community is there. The team are regularly on there. So Eirik in the middle there is one of the co-founders. Jens is hiding at the back, I think. But yeah, all the ambassadors are on there and the team. They're great for help and they're great for sneak peeks and things. You can, again, lots of the EdTech platforms, there are courses online. So the Curipod courses that are available online. They have a lot of stuff on social media and they have their own YouTube channel. Right. That is the end of things, you having to do things. This is where I have to work out how I go from this to showing you. I think it's going to stay on the same screen. Yes, we've done it. Excellent. So when you end your lesson, it immediately takes you into your results. Okay, so this is the first thing you'll see. So we've got people's names down. You can see what lessons people took part in. And if you click on Generate Insights, this should work in real time for us. It's going to have to. You'll be able to see what sections of your lesson students got to grips with really well, what sections that you're going to have to go back and revisit again. So it gives you most common things that people understood, misconceptions, areas that you might need to take action on as well. And it also gives you a rundown of who in the class might need a little bit more support and who's doing okay. You can break it down personally. So if I click Get Insights for all students, it will now go into each student individually and tell me some suggestions for helping that student go forward. So Ailey, I'm afraid we're going with you first here. So what your glow, grow and action items are. And it also, as I said, gives you the breakdown of each student's work. I do love him. He's very cute. That you can go and have a look, and if there's anything you want to go back to that student with, you can go back and talk to them independently about it. And if you need to recheck your activities, you can go back and look over them. If you share a class with somebody, if you're co-teaching, click the share button and that will take you to a link and that'll let you share it with other teachers. I share a couple of junior classes with other teachers so I can let them see what we've been doing in class. Right. Let me try and show you just how quickly this is. So there's our homepage. Here are all the generators. They go on and on and on. You also see you can do it by subject, grade. Obviously, almost all the EdTech platforms do it by American grades. So you just need to work out your British version to American, all the different sections, what you want to do. But if we want to create a lesson from start, I create lesson. You can see down here, we've got some of the AI generators. I'm going to go for full lesson. And let's go for 9th grade, which is roughly, I think, works out about 4th year. So they're doing revision. And I want revision on coastal erosion features. Oh, the geography ladies will love me. You've got up to 6,000 characters in there, so you can get quite detailed. You can put your SQA course specifications in. You could put particular exam you can be as specific as you want. You've got a lot of space there. So you set the age, you set what you want to do, click the button, and then the AI does its little stuff in the background. Even once it's generated your lesson though, down the left-hand side here are all the alterations that you can make to your slides. So there's your translate button at the back, your background changes, you can add media, you can add YouTube films, you can edit an activity to add more time in or add more polls in. If you want a picture from your own machine that you desperately want them to have a look at, you can upload it. So there's a whole raft of different ways that you can edit even the AI generated one. Okay, doc, I'm just going to add. Yep.
Sorry, just before you move on, just because you hit on translate there, Moira's asking in the chat, are you happy with the reliability of pages when they are translated?
From teachers that I have spoken to, I am not a modern languages expert. From the teachers I've spoken to, they are pretty confident that the translation is accurate. One of the ambassadors is I want Ukrainian, and she's been quite impressed with the translation that's come over. Obviously, as with all AI, you need to double check it yourself, even coastal erosion. But yeah, the translation features seem to be fairly reliable. It's coming out of ChatGPT, I think it's 4. So it's one of the upgraded ones. But yeah, for the teachers that I've spoken with, they seem to be quite happy with it.
Yeah,
Does that help?
Yeah, she says that's good to know. The other thing that I think that links with is when you showed the picture of the guys, you know, the founders are really open to feedback. They're really
Oh,
open to engaging with people. So if
yeah.
you were, Moira, to find a language that didn't work or that wasn't great, I'm sure they would be very open to
They
hearing
are,
that.
they want to know if there's bugs. They want to know if there's a problem. You can contact them on Twitter. You can get hold of them on Facebook, and somebody will get back to you really, really quickly. And they are really about talking to teachers and making sure that what they do is there to help you. They would be delighted to hear if there's anything they can do to help you. So just to go over this one here. So there you go. You've got a lesson drafted saying it's by artificial intelligence. Make sure to check it over. The standards there will be American, but it lets you know what things are covered. We have, actually, you know what I'll do is I'll just do that. What is coastal erosion? The powers of waves, winds and tides. We've got a poll to start off with. What do students think the main driver of coastal erosion is? Some more information. Again, you can adapt this. So it's got a little activity here for them, instructions for this activity. Sit together in pairs, use a text or drawing to show your thinking. Case study for them to work on. 12 apostles in Australia, an example of. I will definitely have to ask the geography ladies about that one. Human impact. Which of the following can speed things up? Again, you've got your polls down the bottom and an exit ticket, identify and describe one natural process. So that's a very basic one. Now, I have run with lessons just from that, but you can mix and match them however you like. And just as you can get hold of them and say, there's been a problem with this translation, or it gave me a wrong image that shouldn't have been there, because the AI does make mistakes. You can contact them and say, is there any chance of getting a generator that does this? And the folks at Curipod will be looking into it. So really, it is very friendly towards teachers reaching out to them. And I am delighted to say, as I'm sure you will be, I have managed to get through everything I hoped I would show you this afternoon. So unless there is anything people desperately want me to show them or have any questions for.
So we'll give people a little while in the chat maybe to type, because sometimes it takes a little minute. But I think Aileen, you've seen a huge change in the engagement of
Yes.
students since you started using that. Is that right? Do you want to
Yeah.
tell us maybe a little bit about that? I know I'm getting you off the hoof a wee bit.
So
But I
when
think
I started using this, like I said, about end of March, beginning of April last year, and one of the reasons was I was having a real bad time with behaviour in classroom, with kids not being focused, with a lack of engagement, and I use it in 98% of my lessons now. And one of the most telling things I think that I got told, my faculty head's classroom is across the corridor for me, and he said, I can tell when you're using Curipod because the noise level changes, and he says you can actually feel the focus coming out of the room. And that's somebody across the corridor. My students come in and ask, are we doing a Curipod today? I've had them complaining that other teachers don't use it. So the level of engagement that it picks up, obviously, whenever you start anything new, there's somebody going to try and be funny, and there's somebody going to, that happens with everything. But yeah, the change in the engagement and the skills level in my class, you see it progressing. And it's made a real difference to my classes since end of March, beginning of April last year, that I do not know how I would live without it now.
yeah. And I think it's worth saying as well, you've already said yourself, like you came in as like a
Oh,
newbie, like you were very much
yeah.
a skeptic, and it's totally
I was
changed.
the one who was pushing my iPad towards the side of my desk going, I don't need that. That's not the kind of teacher I am. And now I have my iPad in my hand constantly. All my lessons are online. Everything is the changes it has made to my life. I cannot tell you. AI is good here to stay. It's not going away. It's going to change the way we teach. And I think teachers need to start dipping their toe in and finding out, because it's not scary. Honestly, it's playing. It's fun. And you can do entire lessons in a tenth of the time that it would have took you before to do it.
Yeah. And I think Moira made a good point and at the end of the last question about it's so easy to pick up. The
Oh,
best way really to go on from here is to just go in and start playing, particularly that AI generator. I'd said in the chat, Aileen, when you were talking, that it's really good to just play with that
yes.
topic box and see how much it can do. In particular, I was talking about books in the chat, and you could be
Yeah.
quite broad with your genres, but you could actually get it to generate, and I have previously got it to generate a whole lesson on like the balcony scene in Romeo and Juliet,
Yes.
provided the AI knows the literature.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to do this one with my first years today, not today, tomorrow. They're going to co-write a fairy tale. And the AI's creativity, yes, it takes it from what it's been given, but the way it's been created and the way it pulls the kids into the lesson, and they're desperate to show you what they can do. It is game changing. I know it's a phrase that's thrown around a lot, but I'll stop sharing this screen and I'll come back to you, my dear. It is game changing, and it is going to change the way we teach.
We've also got a question from Susan, so you might need to reshare your screen actually.
Yeah.
Susan saying that she missed the start, the moderator page. So when she's tried
Yes.
to use Curipod before, she's been projecting it from her PC to the smartboard, and it obviously just projected what was on the screen. She's asking, do you need a second device to see the moderator screen? What's your workflow? Do you do it all
I
on
work
one?
with my connected Falkirk device as my moderator device, and that lets me wander around the room and has me hands free with it. Can you? The problem is if you have the moderator page on your main screen, you're not going to be able to see it
Yeah.
because you've got the main lesson up on the screen. So I would recommend doing it on a second device if you can.
And I think
Otherwise,
the idea of the second device being the moderator device is the mobile device
yeah,
that you can walk around the room, and it
yeah.
allows for that sort of early intervention. It allows for that classroom or teacher presence.
Yeah, it also gives the quick peek over the shoulder just to make sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been using this for so long that I couldn't honestly tell you the last time I had a kid try and put something inappropriate in, because they
Yeah.
know I can see it and they're like, what's the point? She's just going to kick us out. So they stop. So they take it quite seriously now. But yeah, there's also they are also looking into having it so students can have the lesson and their own screen side by side. But I think there's a bit of coding problems there
Right,
with
okay.
that one.
Susan's asking, how do you actually do that? So it might be good just to show how you would go from the Curipod on your desktop, like what you've got just now. I think your desktop screen you're
Yeah.
sharing, right? How do you then get the moderator screen onto your Connected Falkirk iPad?
So there's your whatever screen it is, and always at the bottom of the screens you will have this little box. So you've your buttons to go through your slides. This one here is the one you want, the little settings device, and this is the QR code for you, the teacher. And if you scan that QR code, that will let you open up the moderator tool on whichever device that you are using. It won't stay up there. If you notice, it will automatically go down. I have never had a problem with a student trying to grab that QR code and open the moderator themselves.
Do you need to,
Sorry,
sorry, do you need to be signed into Curipod on your second device, Aileen?
No, you just, as if you were going into a Kahoot or a Blue-Kit, you just scan that and it will take you straight to it.
Perfect. So it's super easy. As soon as
Yeah. You just need to be signed into whatever you're running the main lesson on, and whether you're using your phone or whatever else it is you're using, you don't need to be signed in. As you would with any QR code, just scan it and it will take you directly to that page.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And thanks, Susan. That's a great question. I think
it's a good
it's
question.
always
Yeah.
good to not only know that these things are there, but to ask people what their workflow is, because everybody uses things differently.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really nice piece of advice that you wouldn't necessarily automatically think of. Well, yeah, obviously I'll use it on my roving device, because then it means that I can work this particular way. So really great. And all that remains to say is thank you for coming, but also a huge thank you to Aileen, who has led the session today. We're very grateful to you for sharing your journey, sharing your experiences, and just all round being really, really keen to help and get involved and share this wonderful platform that we think is a really, really great tool. So if you want to follow Aileen on X or Twitter or Twix or whatever we're calling it now, her handle is there, AI with Aileen. And thank you very much. We'll hopefully see you next time. Cheers, folks.